Hey everybody, this is Karen, and I'm recording my response post because I'm actually going to be on the road tomorrow. So, starting with Will, I like how you talked about ageism. That's something that I think a lot of us have not covered yet, so that was great. And I thought, good points on that also would be the involvement in events and programs have been shown on campus to help with student retention. And when you are a little bit older than a typical college student, and are not involved in those events, then you don't have as much ownership over the educational process. So it's very important to find a way to involve older students, distance learning students, all sorts of different categories of students in events and clubs and opportunities on campus. So that's a good act that campuses could enact to help those students feel like they belong in college, and then they can all vent about the kids who think, why is that 50-year-old here? Not that I'm one of those, but also one thing that I saw, I used to run a tutoring lab, and computer fluency is huge, especially in southeastern North Carolina with older students. So when they come in and take a class like CIS 110, which is required for the community college system for an associate's degree program, for most of them, CIS 110 starts with the understanding that you know how to use the Microsoft Office suite programs at least an intermediate level, in my experience, or at least advanced beginner. Not beginner, where's the mouse, what do I do? And so those students would be forced to do things like this. They'd be forced to create videos, upload videos, create spreadsheets, integrate spreadsheets, and here they are trying to figure out where they put their hands to type. And they thought introductory courses were introductory courses, so not having it in high school, being 30, 40, 50 years old, because really computers started coming into the classrooms when I was starting the later years of elementary school. So another thing would be being sensitive to that, having programs available, having enough tutors in the computer science course, similar to developmental math and developmental English in the community college system, so that people can find a place to get that education without having to go to like a Sylvan Learning Center and pay money that they don't have. Matt, ableism and disabled veterans, that was really great as well. I think that's not necessarily true what that particular person said to you about being the only category you're not born into. There's also spinal cord injuries, even students with ailments such as cancer or other more very common ailments that create a disability for a student. Those people don't often know, and oftentimes get the instructors who are adjuncts who don't know the rules. I've had experience where students came in crying and wanting to drop a class because they were told that you're going to miss too much school for your hysterectomy. Really sorry about that, so go ahead and just take withdraw. And that's not the case. And when you bring them to disability services, they inform those students that they do have rights and that they don't have to finish the class right now or the same schedule as everyone else. They can get it incomplete and can be worked with, because these are unexpected things that happen to everybody, unfortunately, too many people, unfortunately. Jared, ableism. With the new DSM, students with disabilities are going to be much more than 15% of the population. I think 1 in 4 children now are being diagnosed on the spectrum, at least boys, and potentially 1 in 5 children overall. And I think that it's really cool that you mentioned people by their abilities. You described not deaf and blind folks, but folks who cannot hear but can do this and can do that. And so it's clear that you work with students with disabilities because of the way that you describe them. You can hear it in your language. I love the gym class comment, because my experience with spectrum children, specifically those with sensory processing pieces to that disorder, they are not coordinated. You're absolutely right. And so you're putting them in a class and thinking that they're just not trying, when they've had hypothetically 22 years, 18 years, whatever, 15 years of that experience. They know they can't dribble that basketball. They know they're going to travel. They know they can't or don't want to be hit by a dodgeball or whatever, course they're taking. And kids with autism tend to, or on the autism spectrum, tend to want individualized sports. They excel at swimming and tennis and sports where it's just them and they are competing with themselves, not necessarily the person next to them. So, Sarah, your video ended at like 2 minutes and change, so I didn't get to hear about your experience in Illinois, so I hope that you will come back and post more about that. So thank you, that's the doorbell. I think that's my cue to go. Thank you very much.